Good morning. Today we will learn Python in Android. First of all, you will need a Python named app, and then you will open. You will see this interface like this.
Hello world. If you are wondering what in the world is programming, then stick till the end of the topic. Imagine you are playing with your dog, and you instruct him to bring the ball that you just threw. Dog will surely run towards the ball and fetch it for you. You might be thinking what this example has to do with programming? So, let me tell you what you did was just instructed the dog to accomplish a task. That is, you just programmed your dog to do so. Thus, with this knowledge, let's define programming. Programming is writing a sequence of steps of instructions in order to execute or accomplish a task. So what we did was we instructed the dog to perform the following steps. Run towards the ball. Fetch the ball. Bring the ball back. Thus we wrote a program for the dog. Since computers are dumb, we humans have to instruct them to perform the tasks. In the way we wrote a program for the dog, we write programs so that computer can understand it and can execute the task. So, in simple terms, this is programming. Computers cannot understand the languages we speak. Thus, we need a notion through which we can communicate with them. The languages that help us to communicate with computers and allow us to write programs is called programming languages. Python is a high-level programming language that uses instructions to teach the computer how to perform a task. Python is an easy-to-learn, powerful programming language. A language which is closer to a human language, like English, is known as a high-level language. Python provides an easy approach to object-oriented programming. Object-oriented is an approach used to write programs. Python is a free and open-source language. That is, you can read, modify and distribute the source code of Python scripts. It was developed by Guido van Rossum and was released in 1991. We will learn about object-oriented programming later. There are two versions of Python available, namely, Python 2.x and Python 3.x. Don't worry. In 2019, you don't need to learn Python 2. Just learn Python 3 and you are ready to survive in the world. But if you already know Python 2, there are a few differences in both versions that you need to know. First major difference between Py 2 and Py 3 is Python 2 is more structured programming language, whereas Python 3 is more object-oriented language. Another difference between Py 2 and Py 3 is in print function that is used to print data onto the console screen. In Python 2, print function does not require parentheses, round brackets. For example, print hello Python. Whereas in Python 3, print function compulsorily needs parentheses in which the data that is to be printed is passed. For example, print hello Python. Python 2 and Python 3 have some difference in while dividing two numbers. If we divide 5 halves in Python 2, the output will be 2 since the numbers are of integer type. If you are not familiar with what integer is, don't worry, we will discuss further, just understand that integers are some real numbers, whereas in Python 3, the output will be 2.5. Another difference that we can point is in taking input from the user. In Python 2, if we want to take input in words from the user, raw_input method is used, whereas if we want any other type of input, whereas in Python 3, there is no method called raw_input, only input method is used to take input from the user. Also, there is the addition of as keyword in Python 3. There are a few more differences that you can surely explore. So with this knowledge, let's move ahead. Python is utilized in many domains. Python is everywhere. But what exactly is Python used for? What areas of technology or business does Python benefit the most? Let's see some specific scenarios where Python is used. Python is used In game and app development. To create web application. In artificial intelligence. To create desktop applications. In embedded systems, Internet of Things and more. Thus we have seen that Python is used in almost everything. So rather than learning many programming languages, master one language, i.e. Python. First, we write instructions in English-based Python language. Python is an interpreted language, so there is no need to compile them. Python programs run directly through a source code. The source code is converted into an intermediate bytecode and then into the native language of the computer by the Python interpreter. The code is executed and the output is presented.